If you're a parent with a disc bulge or multiple disc bulges, you've probably tried endless stretching or just core routines. Maybe you found it online, maybe a past physios gave it, but you're still flaring up when doing small things like hoovering the house, cleaning up after your children, running about after your children, or even just loading the dishwasher or putting your socks on in the morning. These small things are still causing you flare-ups. And I don't blame you for doing core exercises or stretching routines because they seem like the right things to do, right? But you've probably came from my Instagram. You've probably seen me talk about why these things don't work. So basically in this video, I'm going to go over more into detail. It's just going to be raw, genuine value of more detail on why these things don't work and also how you can start implementing other things that will actually build your back for real life. Because think about it, as a parent, your life's probably chaotic. As I say, you're running about after your children, or you're working, or maybe you sit down and work, or maybe you're just hoovering every day, cleaning a house every day. You're doing more than average activity levels, or your activity levels are higher than the average. So how would things like bird dogs or side planks or planks or hamstring stretches, child pose, hip flexor stretches, how would these things prepare your back for your chaotic life? Because they don't replicate bending at all. They don't replicate the way you twist and move when you're running about with your kids, or the way you're twisting down to load the dishwasher, or bending when you're hoovering. They don't replicate these tasks which you actually struggle with. So how would they work? You're not fragile and you're definitely not broken. The things you're doing just now just don't require, or just don't meet the requirements that your back actually needs to handle these things, to handle your life. And I know exactly where you're at right now. You wake up already tired because your back's kept you up during the night. You're maybe snapping at your children or family over small things because that you're on the low level. You're letting your back and your pain and your flare-ups, that's dictating your energy levels and your mood. And you feel guilty because you're maybe not able to run about as well as you used to, or you maybe don't feel as present as what you used to with your children. Things like cleaning the house or hoovering or doing the dishes or even just sitting and work or running about after your children, these are now calculated risks with leading to flare-ups. It's these small random things which are leading to flare-ups, and that constant anxiety of not knowing whether that will dictate how your back feels the next day, that constant anxiety is playing on your mental health. And maybe you've tried physio, chiropractor, injections, or endless research online looking for the best stretches or core routines. You've maybe spent hundreds of pounds trying to patch this up, and all you really get is temporary relief, but you know you're not fixed. Deep down, mentally, you're starting to believe that maybe this is just your life now, and you're secretly wondering if you'll ever be that sort of energetic, high mood parent that you used to be. So let me tell you what's really going on in your head right now, because I hear it from parents every single week. You believe you've tried everything, so you believe that nothing will work long term. You believe the problem must be permanent because it's your age, you're maybe over 35 and this is just how life has to look. You believe if you just did the core exercises or held the stretches longer, it would finally fix it, or you're skeptical of every new program, course, because you've been burned before by physios or chiropractors, or you've tried injections and they do nothing. And now you compare every option and you wonder, is this just another quick fix? Is this just going to make me feel good until tomorrow? So you're comparing these things now because you're worried that you're going to waste your money again. But here's the hard truth, and I touched on this earlier, but core exercises and stretching routines it's not that they don't work because you're doing them wrong, but they train your muscles in safe, controlled positions. But real parent life is chaotic, as mentioned before. Lifting a toddler at weird angles, hoovering while twisting, carrying shopping bags, or even just running after toddlers or even older kids and bending and reaching and twisting all day long, or maybe you're just sitting in your job all day long as well. Your disc and your spine needs real life tolerance, not just a six pack and a static hold plank for 2 minutes and 30 seconds instead of 2 minutes. Like, that's not going to get you anywhere within your life. They don't build that tolerance, so then when life happens, another flare up happens. Here's exactly what I would do over the next 12 weeks to create a genuine long-term fix, not just short-term relief, because you must be tired of that now. And to get a long-term fix, it takes hard work, and it maybe takes a longer time than just doing core or just doing a core routine or stretching for 2 weeks and expecting change. Let's expand that. If we want long-term results, let's go for a longer time frame of a consistent routine. So first of all, we would want to calm symptoms, quiet the pain and flare-ups, just so you can start moving with confidence. So try find things that maybe cause you to flare up. A lot of the parents I work with, they mention bending or twisting. So let's say like a standing full bend would cause you a bit of pain. For me, can you start with just sitting down bending? Or can you start with a half bend to the floor? Is that sore? Is that uncomfortable? Is it not? Basically, you want to imagine things that cause you pain just now that you want to be able to do. Imagine that like a hot bath. Find your comfortable starting point, dip your feet into that hot bath, and then slowly submerge yourself into that hot bath. If bends cause you flare up and you go straight to doing 3 sets of 12 to 15 bends, then you've kind of jumped straight into that hot bath. You're going to get a flare up, or like a hot bath, it's going to be too burny, it's going to be too sore, it's not going to last long, or you're not going to last long in that bath. Same idea with jumping straight into doing the things that cause you flare-ups. We more want to find a way that we can dip our feet into that. Just an example, bending, instead of full bends, start with sitting down, or just start with half bends, and then over the next 4 weeks, just progressing that, maybe every week, doing a few more reps, a few more sets, or just going that small bit further towards that full bend. And then once you start to get comfortable with sort of everyday movements, you've found a way to slowly increase your tolerance. We now want to start to load the tissues and actually build some real strength. So let's say now you can bend, and you're bending 3 times a week, 3 sets, 12 reps, easy, right? Let's start to add a small weight to that, do you know? Because if you're comfortable with bending 3 times per week with a small weight, do you not think it would be more comfortable for you to bend down and load the dishwasher 5 times per week? You know, like, doing these things will then prepare you for real life. And I've only used bending as an example. Find a way to slowly dip your feet in if it's twisting, and then start to add a weight with twisting. And then before you know it, you can do things that used to cause you pain, you're now doing them with a weight. Remember, we want to create lasting resilience, so random things stop ruining your day at all. Your sleep, your mood, we want these things to stop being affected by your back. Your energy levels, we don't want any of that to be affected because of flare-ups. So within the next phase, maybe 8 weeks later of safely using weights, this is when I would start to properly challenge yourself. So within 8 to 10 weeks, I would want you doing things that you're maybe not done in 5-10 years. Maybe you're getting out that first walk/run, like power walk/run. Maybe we can start to get you walking 1K, running 1K. Maybe we can start deadlifts. Maybe we can start some squats. But this is your hot bath. This is where you're doing the things which are your hot bath. You've now, because we've took the time to actually build up to it. So now that you're strong enough to do these things, this is when we start properly challenging you. We build real power, real strength, real capacity with intolerance through movements to not allow small things to flare us up again. What I've just went over in 10 to 12 weeks, or that would take, what I've just went over that would take you 10 to 12 weeks, is so much more effective than doing the same planks, bird dogs, hamstring or hip flexor stretches, it is so much more effective because it's specific to you. And it probably does require you thinking a bit about what causes you pain, what do I want to get good at, let's dip a feet into that hot bath and let's attack it for the next 10 to 12 weeks. And you'll be amazed with the progress that you can make in that time. And that's why 12 weeks is a great time frame. That's how long my back to living blueprint is. Parents inside the blueprint are telling me things like this, like, hold on, I've got some written down that I've heard just over this last week. I can finally clean the house without paying for it the next day. I played tag with my kids for the first time in 2 years without worrying. I mean, that just felt awesome to me. She had a 5-year-old kid now, so it's the first time she's been able to play. So those years between 3 and 5, she was basically out the game of playing games with a kid, and now she's back to actually being able to run about and chase after them and stuff. I slept through the night and woke up without that horrible stiffness. Massive one. I mean, if you think of a world where you wake up without that constant ache or stiffness in your back, or it's not kept you up all night, like that would have such a positive impact on your energy levels and even productivity if you're going into work as well. If you're going into work after that, you're not waking up with the stiffness or the constant ache. So like you're going to be more motivated to be productive and be comfortable in work as well. Probably the best one that I heard was my back no longer controls my mood or my mental health, which is huge because people forget that back pain is not just a physical problem, especially disc bulges. You've probably been or had on and off back pain for years. And yeah, I mean, it's not just physical because you learn to deal with the pain, right? Or you learn to deal with it. You build a high pain threshold to the point where it's not so much the pain that bothers you, but it's more just the anxiety from, oh, is this going to cause me a flare up? Is this going to keep me up all night? Is this going to affect how I'm present with my family? And my back to living blueprint isn't height. It's what happens when you stop following random exercises, but instead follow a plan that actually resonates with your life. Especially if you can't really think about how you would dip your feet into that hot bath. This is what I find with people, and this is how we get them to the point where they're doing things that they couldn't even have imagined doing in under 12 weeks. So if you're watching this and you're mentally exhausted, you've tried everything, and you just finally want to break the cycle, here's what I want you to do next. If you want to see whether the Back to Living Blueprint is a good fit for you, book a free one-to-one strategy call with me straight away, or just apply for my coaching straight away. We'll look at your specific situation, and I'll tell you honestly if it is the right next step for you. I'll leave that link in the description. I'll also leave another link in the description if you're not ready for that call and you want more content from me. You can grab my free masterclass where I walk through, I go into a bit more detail of what those 3 phases look like, and more testimonials, more about people speaking, parents speaking in similar positions to you about kind of how it's changed their life as well. And we'll jump into more detail there. But either way, you don't need to suffer in silence, and you don't need to do this alone anymore. You don't need to wait 3 to 4 weeks for your next physio appointment. You don't need to leave a physio appointment with random exercises that aren't specific to you and then have no idea what to do for 4 weeks. So then you go back to your next appointment feeling the same. It's not like that. It's different. And that's how I've been able to change hundreds of parents in a similar position to you. I've been able to transform and change their life in a positive way.